Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and repentant alike. I am Sophia of the AmaruKhan Band of Indians, and this is your Tree of Life yearly progressions astrotarography update for the next energy that is coming in. This energy is going to be Mercury, and it is the Ten of Swords. I have been warning about this energy all year. This is the most difficult energy of the year, and I can see why. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about this energy and kind of what's going on with it. And I'll give some extended suggestions and review on how to best transmute this energy. And if you enjoy this type of astrology content, please feel free to join us over here on the YouTube channel at Sophia Spiritualite. We do predictions on how to transmute the energy daily so that people can literally learn how to manipulate the incoming rays to the earth in a format that best serves our creator, not these other little g gods out here, not these demons, not these humans who want things to go a certain way. This is strictly transmutation for the purpose of serving the creator. So some of y'all like that, some of y'all don't like it. Don't matter to me. I'm just giving the information. So the energy we're going into, as I mentioned, is Mercury. And this is very interesting because Mercury actually goes into retrograde on August the 4th. So right before we start this energy on August the 6th, Mercury, the planet, goes into retrograde, and then this energy comes in. Now, this would only happen on a year in which we have elemental fire year, where Mercury will be going retrograde when we hit Mercury time, because these don't change. So essentially, this is how it lines up this year. So the actual planet Mercury will be in retrograde when we hit this Mercury energy. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to affect things. I assume that it will make it much easier to transmute the energy. And even perhaps this Ten of Swords is not going to hit as hard as I anticipated, because I didn't look at what would actually be going on during this time of year when this energy came in. But it has been fascinating to watch thus far. I've only done 3 of these, but I was watching it before this, and so it's been really, really interesting how all these things line up. So the Ten of Swords is a sudden ending. Now, in general, swords are hard ending cards. Swords are final endings. Swords are, this is over, you're walking away, you're burning the bridge, and you're not coming out. And 10 is the highest of all the decan cards in relation to this. So this is, again, sudden ending, failure, backstabbing. So this is not an ending that's a good ending. This is a bad ending, which is why I was very, very concerned about this energy all the way back in January. And I knew that this could potentially become a problem. So, the graciousness of the Creator has given us information on how to transmute this energy. So the way we're going to want to transmute this energy is with the Ten of Wands, which is no perspective, burden, and accomplishment. So this person, just in the picture, before we talk about what lenses through, just in the picture, both of these people are face down in their work, right? One of them got backstabbed, obviously, because you can't put a sword in the back of your own head. And the other person is face down into his actual work that he's carrying. So the difference is, one is a hard ending where if you're stabbed in the back of the head like that, you're pretty much not going to come back. And the other one is it could end up being accomplished, meaning once you get to where you're going with these sticks, with the Ten of Wands, that could be it. You could be done. Your burden could be lightened at that point. And so both of these cards talk about lightening your burden. One talks about lightening your burden permanently, and one is talking about lightening your burden after temporary carrying of the burden. And so that's the energy we want to lean into. And we want to do this through the ninth house of Gemini. This is the most interesting part of this whole thing, is that the fact that this is the Mercury card in the Mercury house, and Mercury is in retrograde. I don't really, this is a clear indication of no hard endings. What are hard endings? Hard endings are burning bridges, things you can't come back to, and soft endings is kind of like carrying on after the burden has been lightened and you want to carry on. So we definitely want to lean into this accomplishment. So we have the ability during this time period to actually accomplish something, and not from a failure position, but from a success position. And we would do this, and this ends on September 11th, okay? August 6th to September 11th. So we would do this through the lens of the ninth house in Gemini, which is to learn how to properly use words and wisdom. Now, I'm going to read some more of the article. This is from Horoscope Joy, and you're more than welcome to just type in ninth house Gemini on Horoscope Joy, and she's got a nice long article about this. I'm going to read a great deal of this. Ninth house in Gemini. And remember, these yearly progressions, this is the whole planet experiencing this. So this is the tone for our planet for the year. Like, the new year starts for every government, quote unquote, at the same time. So this is literally the energy that we collectively agree to on our planet. And this is actually a fantastic energy in general. I feel like if we leaned into this energy in general, this transmutated energy in the ninth house of Gemini, we would be in a good position. Not the regular energy, obviously, that's pretty terrible. But if we lean into this transmuted energy, collectively, we would be in a much better place. So it says, a little overwhelmed by all their desires. When it comes to the interests of those born with the ninth Gemini in the ninth house, these can vary, as they can easily get bored with what they're doing. These people's thirst for knowledge needs to be satisfied. It's easy for them to develop when they're communicating properly, not to mention they're passionate about learning, even if they have difficulties memorizing a lot of the information at once. If they want to no longer overthink things, and this way not to cause problems for themselves, ninth house Geminis have to be clear and focused on only one issue at a time. This is why you have single issue voters, okay? When having too many objectives, they may not be able to attain any of them. What they should learn is how to properly use their words and wisdom. This is what I said for my short version. If they can truly intimate from an emotional point of view, they can find foundation to make their approach better by having greater ways of speaking in public, exposing themselves to others, and trading information, especially in the technology field. This is a huge problem that I would say amongst the conservatives. They want everything to be they want to spread the information out so wide and so far that they're not dealing with the single most important issue. And how I always chastise conservatives, because what they think should be the single most important issue is always the wrong issue. So not only do these people have the total they're incapable of sticking to a single issue and really rallying people around that issue, they then double down on that stupidity by picking a bunch of issues and saying these are all our most important issues. Like, for example, right now the debate on the conservative side is that, Trump is not pushing Project 25. Whatever that is. Now, mind you, most people don't even know what that is. That's not a thing. Like, nobody agreed to that. And so instead of these people realizing that they messed up by pushing an agenda that nobody agreed to, which is what actually happened. The conservatives are arguing, oh, well, they ditched these people. These are their best supporters, blah, blah, blah. No, the best supporters of a quote unquote Trump administration are those who understand that you cannot be on the wrong side of any image games right now. And if you're going to pick a stupid thing like Project 2025 to push, which nobody knows anything about, I've never seen any of the conservatives that I follow ever talk about it in a positive form whatsoever. That means that it's unknown. So why would you take the position of something that's unknown? That's stupid. And of course, this is what they're arguing about. Instead of saying, hey, what about the platinum plan, man? We should really be pushing the platinum plan. No, nobody's talking about that. Or just staying focused on the, potential assassination attempt, insider job that's been going on. No. No. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all this other stuff. Totally wrong. These people have no focus and they don't understand what's going on with the energy on the planet, and which is why they have to be totally and completely defeated. And just like the Democrats have to be totally, completely defeated as well. Equal opportunity. We're on the purple plane right now. I don't know what these people are talking about, but we are on the purple plane, okay? All right, their main purpose is to gain more knowledge and to look smart because they're true intellectuals with a powerful spirit and great ways of communicating. More than this, they're appealing and very intriguing. Not to mention, they always want to give a hand and to prove they have many talents. A person born with Gemini in the ninth house doesn't care too much about being perfect during adulthood. He or she doesn't have any idea what a stable public image means because his or her traits are constantly changing. I would say this is true about Americans. We really live up to this energy. We really you know what an American is, but what it means to be an American is constantly under flux. So we are constantly in this transmuted energy. Natives with this placement at their birth chart want to learn more about the spiritual world and to analyze philosophical ideas because acquiring new information is what they love the most. I would say that is true about Americans in general, and about this planet. People are always trying to learn new things, accomplish new tasks, be more successful. We as a human race are doing a pretty good job at transmuting this energy naturally without even knowing that's what that is. However, this period of time from August the 6th to September the 11th, it is heightened. It is heightened in availability for us, okay? Also, they want to be allowed to think freely. This is this whole push for free speech. There's also the danger for them to get lost in the details and to no longer pay attention to the real information coming their way, meaning they can gain wisdom in the wrong way. This is a huge problem amongst people. They are taking wisdom from all the wrong places. Those angels that they think they're dealing with are really demons, and they won't look closely at those deities and double check to make sure that they're good ones. Even the ones who are practicing quote-unquote Christianity, quote-unquote Islam, quote-unquote Hebrewism, Judaism, whatever, a lot of these people are dealing with demons and they don't know it because they have decided that they're not going to dig into it and make sure that who they're dealing with is positive. All right, so grasping spiritual truths. Gemini is here making natives more intellectual, but people with this placement need to be all the time curious about any intellectual discussion. Because this previously mentioned house is opposing the third one in communication, the karma of the ninth house Geminis has them more involved in higher education and communication in this area. This is why when they switched all the calendars, we started to excel as far as education is concerned, and there began to be more colleges open up across this planet, more spaces for high education open up across this planet, more degrees. This was a result of this, us choosing to start the year in this manner. In other words, it's about the most abstract ideas coming from the mental plane and about the Christ concept. People born with Gemini ninth house need to keep matters of wisdom and their intellect in harmony with their existence. Applying them to what's happening in their everyday life and the people they're meeting. There's need for them to use their higher minds when making judgments. More than this, they need to expand their conscious mind because because their psyche needs to experience changes no matter how vain some of them may be. These people need to concentrate on grasping the spiritual truths they're curious about and show some enthusiasm when their knowledge is combining with practicality. It's also important for them to travel far away from home. So again, I didn't read the whole article because it's really long, but it's very, very interesting. That travel is up again because Fleur Brune had done a live stream, and I've been chunking through it because I'm actually quite quite ill still from this Mars and Uranus conjunction that happened a couple weeks ago. These things affect me very, very much, and I was not aware until the conjunction happened what was going on with me. So anyway, so Fleur Brune is talking about how people need to leave their quote unquote home dome and travel to other areas so that they can experience these other areas and get more of a clearer understanding on not just who they are, but what that means, what that looks like. And so I totally agree with this, and I will also add that there are some people like myself who was born into one of these neutral domes. Now, what do I mean by that? I was born, like I always talk about, in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And as a result, I have a taste of a lot of different domes all in one place, but not in the ways of other quote unquote black people, because everybody in charge was black. So I've never been in a scenario on a local governmental level where there weren't black people in charge. So I don't have this complex about black people being in charge. Additionally, the church that I went to was a pretty decent church. It was a family church. So I also don't have these complexes about churches the way a lot of people do, that the churches treated them like this and that and all of that. I went to a family church, and my grandmother and my mother defended me fiercely. And so I don't have those burdens either. Additionally, I was in an educational system where my intellect was highly prized, and it was also supported so that I could develop it further. So I also don't have this educational complex that other people have. And in my schooling process, I was not in a school that was all black. I was in a school that was mostly black. So I don't have those complexes about being the only black person in a white school. And I don't have the complex about not being raised around any white people, because there were plenty of white people, because I went to special schools, because you had to take a test to get into the schools that I went to. And the white people who were in our area tested into these programs. So I was in the very, very unique situation of being in very, very diverse situations from beginning to end. I've not experienced a lot of this stuff that other quote unquote black people have. And on top of that, DC has its own music called Go-Go, which I always play in every video because it is a heart chakra opening music. And so I also don't have the complexes from mainstream music, because I didn't listen to mainstream music. I listened to Go-Go. And so I don't have a lot of this stuff that people are carrying around. I do understand it, because I've invested a lot of time in getting to know it, but I don't carry around these complexes. The biggest problem that I have is that there is an entity attached to the people of the DC metropolitan area that you have to work very, very hard to release yourself from. But that, that's one problem out of the many different, like Fleur Brune was talking about. Oh, well, she goes into the store, she's always worried that people are looking at her like she's going to steal from them or something. And I'm like, every store I went into was full of nothing but black people, and they weren't stealing, because black people don't really do that. In those kind of scenarios, that's more like a white person crime. In Maryland, if you go to the white areas, the palm color areas, then you will see those people engaging in a lot of that kind of theft. But you don't really see that. Black people do things a little bit differently, especially when it's amongst other black people. So I don't have that experience. I never worried about any of that stuff. So wherever I go, I don't worry about any of this stuff. Like, I don't have these complexes, which is why I feel comfortable everywhere I go. And I'm always confused why people feel so uncomfortable when they go so many different places, because they are carrying around a lot of different programming that I do not have. I simply don't have it. And, that's not saying I'm better or worse or anything. I'm just saying that I don't have the programming. So you're not going to force me to say that I have programming that I don't have. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it is important for people to travel. All this is about traveling. So it is important for people to travel and to observe how people act when they travel, and see that how similar it is to, like, for example, when people from DC travel or go places, we typically go into different areas and we dominate, because we don't have these different complexes. Plus, we do have the different entities that want us to kind of, be in charge. That's kind of the way that the DC personality work. It's a very confident personality, and some people like it and some people don't like it. And it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that, except to say that there are scenarios in which different individuals would do good by gaining some of the confidence that people from DC have, because really a person from DC can go anywhere. And I could give you examples of that, like Angel Reese, like the guy, there's a guy from DC that's playing in the, or Kevin Durant, he's from C Pleasant. There's a guy on the gymnastics team that's from DC. Like, we just, wherever we go, there's no fear. A lot of people hold fear in visiting different areas, but we don't hold that fear. Mostly, I say it's because, a lot of people from DC, especially if they're from other countries, they're just spies. And so once you understand that they're just trying to get information out of you, you can hold the information close, or you can just give them the information so that they leave you alone. And that's a choice that you make depending on who you're interacting with. So you get to learn pretty quickly whether somebody is really trying to figure you out or if they're just a spy, and you can decide how you want to conduct yourself from that point. And that's just neither here nor there, just something I thought I would point out. Because I do believe that people are going to need to travel. So again, now is the time to make those plans, not necessarily to execute those plans, and to really rely and trust on your intuition, because your intuition is going to give you the right answers, but you have to rely on your intuition, not your angels in the way that you're listening to them and they're leading you around by your nose, but literally like demanding that you get what you deserve. We are, if you're not aware, we are doing a fast at this time, starting on August the 2nd, going all the way through November the 19th. It's really, really important that we stay connected with our spirit team at this time, and that we don't fall prey to some other subtle negative energies that are creeping in. Again, this Ten of Swords is sudden ending and failure and backstabbing. This is a very, very difficult energy. Now is not the time to make any sudden changes. If you've made the changes before this time starts, before August the 6th, fine. That's why I'm releasing this a little bit early, so you can decide how you want to move during this period. But from whatever you decide to start on August the 6th, you want to lock that in until September the 11th. Like, you don't want to have any sudden endings, because they are going to lead to failure. You're going to either want to have no perspective or literally no burdens, and just accomplish what you can accomplish and stay focused on those type of things. Your burdens, like what are you burdened by that you should be unburdened by, and what accomplishments you need to make. This is a good time for, like I said, planning trips, getting information, thinking about what you want to do and where you want to go and how you want to do it. It's a really, really good time for that. No sudden endings, no failure, no backstabbing. You have to use properly use words and wisdom. So we will be following this energy daily with our daily transmutation reports. I invite you to join us for those. They'll be quite interesting, and we'll try to stay tuned in with the energy. That's probably all the regular reports you're going to get from me over this time period, just because again, I can't start something that I can't have any sudden endings. I can't do anything with failure. Matter of fact, I'm really going to try and get the whole of this time period videos completed, uploaded, and ready to go, so that I don't even have to there's nothing that I can do, so that there will be no random sudden endings during this time. It's going to be really, really important to stay on top of that. So that's going to be my suggestion to you. Oh Lord, we'll see how this time period looks out. At the end of the time period, I always do a look back that I'll post. And so we'll game by game, play by play. And because this is dealing with the worldwide energy, then I could talk more about worldwide stuff and whatever is going on. Not that America is the only thing going on. You do have other stuff going on, but this election is probably the top list of most important. Also, the Democrats actually aligned their convention with this energy, with this Ten of Swords energy, which is a sudden ending, failure, and backstabbing. So I don't know who their astrologer is, but they should really be fired and probably shot. At least fired for allowing them to do their DNC convention during this time. This is not, especially sudden endings. I mean, not the best time to be holding a convention when you had to force your candidate out, like the candidate that people voted for out. That's really, wow. Yikes. They should really come up with some money to give to us so that they could pay us to do some of their astrology for them. But they would never do that because they want us to work for free, and I refuse to. Just like I would refuse to work for the Republicans for free. That's why I'm not going into too much stuff about their ridiculous idiocracy, because it's a lot of stupid stuff that they're doing. But it is what it is. The Most High's will be done. We're just here to transmute the energy in the best way that we can. So thank you for tuning in. Peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.